you know, and then who do you go get? You know, I
Good
can't
question.
think of anyone that would want to come there.
Yeah,
Maybe Lane Kiffin,
no, I think Lane Kiffin's
but
gonna.
is that
If
a?
it's not Bob Stoops, he's gonna end up at FSU. I mean, Lane Kiffin, when he went to Tennessee, he's like, oh, the first thing we're gonna do is beat the Gators. The first thing we're gonna do is beat Florida. And I think they did it. I think Tennessee beat us. I don't know if he was still head coach there or not. But
Mm,
I have a funny feeling, dude, he'll take the FSU job if Bob Stoops doesn't take that job. Now, speaking of
I
head
heard
coaching,
Stoops wasn't.
he wasn't going to take the job?
I heard that Bob wasn't. I heard that it was between Mark and Lane, not Bob. I heard Bob said he didn't want the job.
Oh, Mark Stoops from Kentucky?
I heard it was Mark.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, as long as
No, you're not wrong. I did hear Bob Stoops when they first fired Willie Taggart. The first name that was floated out there was Bob Stoops, but I've heard since then that Bob Stoops told them no thanks.
well, I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, as long as FSU doesn't go out and hire Deion Sanders, we're okay. And nothing against Deion. I'm not saying that he can't, but FSU. I have my big boss that I work with at work. Both of his kids went to FSU, so they're alumni there. He's a Seminole true and true, learning. And I just think it would be an absolute mistake to hire him. Again, you hire Willie Taggart. How'd that work out? 2 years he was here. He had a losing. So it's not going to work with Deion Sanders. It's not, because
No, it won't.
the alumni is not going to put up with losing anymore. Whatever coach you bring in, you're going to have to win right away. So we have to win right away situations. So I don't know who that's for them to worry about. And again, that's my in-state rival, Gators, who we have to play on Thanksgiving weekend, and we do every year. But I mean, it comes down to the point where whoever they hire, but they have to win right away. There's no way that you can have a coach lose because the alumni and the fans don't want to see them lose anymore. So, I mean, I know they won. I know they won Saturday. I know they won 2 days ago. They come out and beat Boston College. Great, fantastic. That's great. So you win your first game without winning coach. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it got to the point, just like I think is happening at USF, where the players will go, oh, he's gone. Now we can play again. We can have fun again. We don't have to play, we don't have to play ball anymore. And that's the way it is. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but that's just my opinion on that situation.
The only problem with bringing Deion into my mind is he has no head coaching experience. I don't know if he has any coaching experience. And I don't like you can't bring a guy that's raw, literally has no coaching experience outside of maybe doing some graduate work when he first left school. And as a head coach, right. You're asking for more trouble than it's worth. Sure, Deion could be the greatest coach ever. And I could be completely wrong, and Deion could come and set the world on fire, and that'd be great, and I'd be totally, be like, all right, I was wrong. Deion's the greatest coach. He could coach there for 40 years and never lose a game, and I'd be like, wow, Deion is something special. Bottle that, because we all need some of it. But correct. I just don't see that happening, especially with a guy that's never held a head coaching position, let alone any coaching. And I worry about, not to switch gears, but to switch gears, I worry about Carlos Beltran with the Mets.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can think of with that situation is if you look at Alex Cora, Brett Boone, Rocco Baldelli are all former players. So I think the Mets are kind of thinking, okay, all three of those have had success. Cora won a World Series in his first year. Brett Boone led the Yankees to almost to the World Series. Rocco Baldelli led the Twins to 110 wins this year. So, the thing is, it comes down to everyone thinks that can work. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Look at Wayne Gretzky. He's the greatest hockey player ever to play, but a horrible head coach. Horrible head coach.
Oh, he was terrible. He was straight trash.
No, I mean,
what about Brad Ausmus? He was terrible.
Yeah, there's another one that was terrible. So there you go. I mean, not every former player can be a great manager or a coach. However you want to, you throw that. So.
And it's like you've got to have. I need a resume. On my show on Friday, I was looking at Carlos Beltran because I closed my show on that, and I was looking at him and I was like, what's his experience? He hasn't coached anywhere. Yeah, he was okay. He was a special assistant to the Yankees GM, but that's not a coaching position.
No.
The Mets roster is a dumpster fire, and if Tim Tebow comes back and is healthy and has anything halfway productive, if he hits 250 with 3 home runs and 13 batted in, the Mets fan base is going to be screaming for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to get sent out there to be killed. He'll hit .0890 with 1 home run and 4 driven in 115 plate appearances, and with 10 errors, and it's like, and then he'll be ruined because the Mets stink so bad that they need some kind of draw. So they're gonna try out Tim Tebow day in and day out starting in May. And it's just going to be a mess.
Well, and I also think, too, being that you're a first-year manager, if he starts to fail in any way, shape, or form, that media will eat him for breakfast. That is one of the hardest places to be a coach or a manager is the New York market, because everyone has an opinion in New York. Everybody does. And it's the hardest media to please, because even if you win, they'll find something to nitpick at you about. Oh, you're winning, but you know what? Your defense is up 34 points a game. Or, oh, by the way, your team is winning, but your team ERA is 15th in the major leagues. They always will find something to nitpick at you about. So for him, Beltran coming in, oh boy, if he doesn't win within the first, if they lose 100 plus games that first year that he's a manager, I feel bad for him, really, because that's a tough market to be a part of. It really is. Honestly, that's not some place I can get my first head coaching job too. I'd want to be somewhere that is not a big media market, like a Minnesota, like with Rocco Baldelli. No one expects you to win. And
if you do win, so much the better.
I went through this earlier in my show about who, the baseball awards come out this week. I really honestly believe that AL Manager of the Year should be Rocco Baldelli. Now, it may go to Kevin Cash, because Cash coached the Rays to a wild card spot. No one again, second year in a row that the Rays have won 90 plus games. And yet again, no one will go to Tropicana Field. And I had a discussion with this the other day with somebody who said, well, the excuse of where the stadium is located is now, that's gone, preposterous. The problem with it is it starts at the top with ownership. And that's exactly what it is. When you have an owner like Jeff Finnick, who owns the Tampa Bay Lightning, you want to go to a hockey game. Even if they're losing, you want to go to a game because it's exciting. He makes it worth your buck. You're not going to go to a Rays game. Let's just say, for example, we're talking right now in the middle of a Monday afternoon. You're not going to want to go on a Monday afternoon, take a day off from work, and go down there because no one's there. Because the stadium is in shambles. That stadium was built for the Lightning before they moved to Tampa. A lot of people don't even know that the Lightning played in that building. That was the Thunderdome before they moved away to the Ice Palace, which is now Amway Arena. But what I mean is, the funny thing is, it's not that. It's the fact that the ownership doesn't give a shit about their fans. And that's what it is. The Bucks are the same. when you don't give a shit about your fan base and you don't care, well, then they're not going to care. And then they drive ticket prices up for the average person. Like me, I'm going to try to go to the Bucks-Colts game in a couple of weeks on a Sunday. But we'll see how that goes. I was kind of hoping that Andrew Luck was still playing because that was the reason why I picked that game. But he retired, so that's all said. 100% hasn't been doing that bad. I can't give him too much props. The Colts aren't that bad of a football team. I know they lost to the Miami Dolphins yesterday, which is a shame, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm getting at is if ownership doesn't care about their organization, then you've done pissed off the fans, and they're not going to show up. And I think that's what it is with the Rays. The problem with the Tampa Bay Rays is simple. Ownership doesn't care. They don't want to build him a new stadium. He only wants to put up like a quarter of the money it's going to cost to put the new stadium in Tampa or wherever the hell they're going to build it. He doesn't want to do that down here, and it starts that way. That's why the Lightning are the best organization in not only in Florida but in one of them all over the country as far as professional sports goes, all over the country. So when it comes down to it, it's just like the AD at a college. If you don't care who your head coach is, well, you're going to run your program into the ground. But if you do care, find a way to get the right guy there. You'll find a way to do it. You'll find a way to get recruitment better. You'll upgrade your amenities around campus. You'll upgrade your practice facilities. Something to draw these young high school kids to your facility to play. That's what they're guess trying to do. But again, man, Beltran is it's going to be rough. That's a rough road, dude.
And the problem, the unfortunate thing for him is he has nothing. He has nothing to build on. You know, those other guys, whether it was Cora or I forget who's in Minnesota.
Rocco Baldelli.
Yeah. And Baldelli. And Aaron Boone. They all had pieces. They all had talent to work with. You know, and looking at the Mets roster, they got Syndergaard and they got DeGrom, but other than that, they don't have a team. They don't have a team to build on. They don't have a team that they can get. You can't even small ball and just get base hits and grind out games and win games, 3-4, 4-5, or 2-1, and just win games that you're not supposed to win and win 80 or 85 games and be close. Right. I just don't see them having, and I don't see them being able to bring any of the free agents in that are out there. Most of those guys are either stay with their current team, or they're going to go to places like the Yankees or the Astros or the White Sox have been a team that they've been talking up. They've been trying to make some moves to go get some
players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does and what they go out and do during the off season. They can bring in some free agents. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what their payroll is. I don't know how close. There is no cap in baseball, but you still have the luxury tax penalty if you go over a certain amount on your payroll. So. But yeah, I wish him the best of luck in New York. I really honestly do with Beltran.
Yeah, I just don't see it working.
Yeah.
And if it does work, great. But I feel like he's been set up to fail. Yeah,
and that's bad because again, it will then they'll say, oh well, you know what, the whole former player. Now a manager won't work anymore. Well, no, that's not necessarily the way it works. If you're given, like you said, you're given the pieces, you can go ahead and win. But if you're not given the pieces, then no, it's not going to work. It will not work. Period. So, well, but I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna hop off here, so I'm gonna go try to eat some before My
All
head
right, then.
exploded. But anyway, but